All right, so this is the Modern 8-Man, and I'm playing Monoblue Tron, and I won the die roll. And I looked down at a pretty mediocre hand, actually. I don't have any Tron pieces or ways to find them. I have double Fabricate. I have a Platinum Angel, which isn't doing much, and it's generally weak. And while this is an okay hand, I'm going to mulligan it and look for something a little spicier. This is not much spicier at all, but it's actually a little bit better because I have Thirst for Knowledge, and Oblivion Stone has some value. So I'm going to keep this one. And on the play especially, Condescend is good. So this hand has all the makings of a winner. Condescend into Thirst should put me in good shape. So he's playing likely Merfolk. Ether Vial is obviously quite strong against my hand. He makes no play. I draw Cyclonic Rift, which I'm going to use to bounce Ether Vial. To make sure he can't get a creature this turn. And he actually spell pierces that, which is fine by me, because now he won't be able to pierce my Thirst for Knowledge. And he attacks for 2. We'll see if he puts a creature into play. He doesn't. I miss, so I'll pass it back. And he doesn't have a creature, so that's a good sign for me. And he doesn't pump the vial, so that's really interesting. That has to be a good sign for me. So he must have a bunch of counter spells in his hand. Master of Waves? Okay. I'm just going to condescend that so I can scry. He pays, and I'll bottom the remand, top Urza's Mine. He must have Phantasmal Image. Yep, he copies Rejury. And then I can play Oblivion Stone. And I'm still being raced on board. So I need to hit Repeal. But I can't cast it, so I think I'm just dead. If he has a Lord, I'm actually dead on board. And he does. So that's 10, 14, 18 damage. So not the best start, but I'll give it a go for game 2. And here I want Dismember and the Repeal. And as we saw, the counter spells were a little weak. I could probably cut some of those. I could cut the Sundering Titan. I could cut 1 Mindslaver. I'm going to try out Aetherize. And I'll cut the Spell Burst, and I'll cut a Condescend. 2 Condescend, and I'll cut... In fact, I'll cut 3 Condescend. And keep in 4 Remand. And I'll try this out. Platinum Angel should be strong against him. Solemn Simulacrum is not great. I'll cut one of those for another Condescend. Solemn does not block very well because I have islands and all of his lords let him attack through. So this is a good one. I'll lead with Tower. Curse Catcher. I could end of turn repeal Curse Catcher, or I could even do it now. And he'll probably counter it, and then I could cast Thirst. Huh. I'm going to repeal this Curse Catcher. That way he can't counter it with the other one. So he'll counter my repeal, and I basically just trade off, and that's all right. And I'm just going to play around the other Curse Catcher by holding off for a turn. His draw is clearly a little bit slow. That Relic doesn't actually do anything against me. It does stop Mindslaver combo, but that's a very minor part of my plan. Pass it back, and I will actually Thirst for Knowledge right now. Swan Song, and then now I can play the Expedition map and pass it back. I could have waited and then thirsted at the end of his next turn and tried to resolve it. That might have been a better play, but I did want to get the map into play. And I'm not too upset with Swan Song here. I'm going to go for another go at the Thirst. I'll discard the Talisman. Play Urza's Mine. And then I'll play the other Talisman and I'll set up Wormcoil Engine. And I'm just going to attack for 2. I'm happy trading 2 for 1, and if he wants to send Mutavault, that means he's tapping out and opening himself up to Wormcoil Engine. He attacks. I was making sure Swan Song couldn't counter Wormcoil. It cannot. Though Steel Sabotage can. He doesn't have it. He sacks the Relic to dig for something. And he could have Phantasmal Image to copy Wormcoil, which is a pretty strong play. Otherwise, I'm in good shape. And if he does have that play, I'm going to use Cyclonic Rift to clear his board, gain a bunch of tempo. I think my best line here is to search up... Oh, he cast another Spreading Seas. So I can't hit Tron, so change the plan. I'll cast Fabricate. And I think another Wormcoil Engine is the best plan for me. And I'll attack. I could have searched up a Tron piece, but I think I'll probably get Academy Ruins. I could have also got Academy Ruins and then searched for Oblivion Stone and tried to lock him out that way. Map up Ruins. Tectonic Edge is another interesting one. And here I'll just attack and present lethal damage. And he'll have to chump block or cast Vapor Snag. So I can play around Mana Leak. So I'm just going to cast Wormcoil. He counters it. And I'll pass it back, and I'm probably going to put it back on top with Academy Ruins at the end of his turn. And he scoops. So here's game 3. I think all the same cards should be good. I'm going to go with this again. Maybe I could cut some Condescend on the draw. I could try out Spreading Seas or Solemn. I could go with Spellburst over 1 Condescend. I don't mind that. Yeah, I'll cut a Condescend for Solemn. Go for the tap out Wormcoil plan. So hopefully he left in the relics. I showed him the ruins. Hopefully he got scared off. Kept in the relics because I'm happy if he spends any mana that isn't killing me. I'm going to keep this with 2 repeal. That's pretty awesome. It's great against Aether Vial. He goes to 5, which is excellent. I'll lead with Island here. I guess I should have played the Tron land if I wanted to curve out, but I kind of want to play around Spreading Seas on turn 2 by holding it. Here I'm obviously going to play it. And he didn't play another land. He has Aether Vial. End of turn I'll repeal it. And that's also really good for me because I'm drawing cards now. And I'm going to be able to draw another one next turn. Strong draw there. I think the best play is to I think the best play is actually to pass. Though getting Treasure Mage into play is not a bad idea. I kind of want to pass and then repeal and then hopefully hit land for Solemn next turn. Or I could Thirst. I don't want to get Thirst countered. But getting Treasure Mage into play is kind of cool because it's a threat. But I'll just pass here. He casts Vial. And now I can comfortably Thirst and hopefully hit Tron and just win the game. And I'm going to discard the Oblivion Stone here because I have such a strong lead that I'm going to be in the driver's seat. I'll play Solemn here. I could repeal Aether Vial next turn to very good effect. It might actually be better to slow roll one turn on it. I could repeal the Spreading Seas and then play Platinum Angel. But I think I would rather bounce the Vial and just lock him out of the game and make sure I don't get blown out by Phantasmal Image. So I'm going to do that. Repeal the Vial. I could always bounce the Spreading Seas later. Play the Tower. And now I'm going to leave up my mana. I think Remand there makes sense. There's also the fact that once I hit 7 end of turn, I could use Rift to bounce it all. It would be pretty crazy for him to use Swan Song. I'm just going to play Angel. I'm going to try to kill him. And there's really nothing I'm too afraid of. And I don't actually have any counter spells. So I'll be really aggressive and then use Cyclonic Rift to get a lot of tempo and win the game. I'll dismember the Regery. And I think now I should repeal the Vial. Keep that thing from ever doing anything. Play map. Get Tron. Play Treasure Mage. another threat in play. I'll get the Worm Coil here, I believe. Mindslaver looks pretty good too. But with the Cyclonic Rift, Worm Coil Engine's the way to go. Also, if he does somehow get rid of Platinum Angel, I won't have much of an offense otherwise. And I'll dismember the Rejury. Though, I probably should have just got Mindslaver, because he's going to be dead in 2 turns. So Mindslaver is actually probably better. Though, like I said, if he has something for Angel, like Dismember, Engine looks a little bit stronger. I don't think it matters much either way. They're both going to make it very difficult for him to win. And they both get stopped by the same cards. Wormcoil Engine walks into Swan Song. Mindslaver walks into Swan Song. Engine plays around it. So there is a case for that. But that's the game. Basically, that game, I just overpowered him, and there were many lines for me to take towards victory, and I liked the way I played it. And that's an example of Tron just overpowering its opponent. So I'll give it a go next round. Thanks for watching.